Good morning, respected judge, parents, and students. Thank you for being here today. Today, I'd like to talk about a topic: fail, learn, and try again. The courage to continue. Now, firstly, before I start, I'd like to share a small story about myself. A while ago, I felt something that really mattered to me. Not a small mistakes you can just ignore and let it go, but something I had to put time and effort into. And when it didn't work out, it stayed in my mind longer than I expected. I remember replaying that moment over and over again, but thinking about what went wrong. But I've also been thinking about something worse. I am a failure. I failed at everything. I'm not good enough. And personally, I think everyone in this room had the same thought as me at some point. Not, I failed, but I am a failure. But the worst thing is, that part really stays with us. That makes a lot of people stop trying. But the truth is, failure isn't rare. It's constant. The common belief about failure. The way we grow up doesn't really help with this. We grow up knowing that success is something to aim for and failure is something to avoid. And for example, when we fail a test, it doesn't automatically means that you're not smart enough. It just means that you didn't improve, you did something wrong, something went wrong, and something you didn't understand. Redefining failure. So, I have a small question for you guys. What's the first thought that comes to your mind when someone mentioned the word failure? Okay, so no one's answered disappointment. Yeah, but that's not quite close. Because what if failure isn't actually the opposite of success, but actually part of it? Think of it as like a simple process. A real example. So let's start with a small example that everyone knows, okay? Thomas Edison, he's associated with the invention of the light bulb. You guys see all the lights over here? Yeah, that is his hard working and sacrifices. He had fell over like 10,000 times and all the design that didn't work. But he didn't let those failed attempts stop him. Instead, it encouraged him to continue to experience and to find more of himself. But you don't really need a famous example for this. Think of it simply, like failing a test. Failing a test doesn't automatically mean that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. But it could mean that something went wrong, something you didn't understand, or maybe you just didn't prepare enough. The try again, but smarter idea. Trying again doesn't mean that doing the exact same thing and hoping for a different result, because that is impossible. It means trying again, but you have to reflect on what happened last time and make changes. There's a simple process for this. You fail, you reflect, you adjust, and you try again. So, what are you going to do when you fail a test? Instead of panicking and give up immediately, you're going to take a deep breath and see what happened. You're going to see what went wrong, see what the mistakes you got, and practice more. These are some practical takeaways. This is some small tips for both adults and teenagers like us to use. Firstly, we're gonna have the learn from mistakes and also time management. Lastly, the last minute rush. But before we start, there is something really important you guys need to know, that we should always avoid others' people's opinion affecting our decision. Because people are scared of being judged. They're scared of what people are thinking about them. But If you let the fear of judgment stop you, you're basically giving others people control over your life. Oh, let's come back to the practical takeaway. Last minute rush is a no-no. You should always start earlier than the deadline. And that could reduce pressure and improve quality. And next, have to break it into time blocks. You spread works across days. Not one panic night and you're gonna mess it all up. And yes, don't do everything in just one go. It increases the stress and lowers performance. Learning from mistakes is the key to success. What are you gonna do? You're gonna reflect on what went wrong to understand the cause, and gonna adjust your approach based on what you've learned. And also, blaming on external factors only is a no-no, which leads to repeated failure. Time management is also very important. First, when I know that all of you right now are getting squashed because of deadlines and work to do, but there's a simple process that could help you with this. First, you should always start with the easiest task, and that's when we save more time for the harder and more important task. And nextly, sometimes you have to push your limits, like timing yourself. For example, my history teacher gave me an assignment to write an essay about 500 words. I know it's long, but you should always push your limits only like 15 minutes. And some small exercise that my science teacher provided, I only need to do it like 10 minutes or 20, and that's it. Don't push over the time, and that only make it worse. And lastly, plan your time in advance, using schedule or time blocks. Failure doesn't end your story, but quitting does. Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I should have quit, but I tried again, even though this time I'm probably more miserable. Well, failure doesn't end your story, but quitting does. Failure doesn't define who you are. Quitting does. Failure shows what went wrong, what you need to improve next time. And quitting, that only ends your story. Thank you.